Hi, my name is Rachelle Smith, entrepreneur, professional speaker, and author. Last time, I shared some additional thoughts on the importance of outliers from the campus of one of my graduate alma maters, Northwestern University in Chicago, Illinois. And it's funny, I was just reading a couple days ago our alumni magazine that we get three times a year. And you see on the front cover, we actually had a chemistry professor, Dr. Stoddard, who received a Nobel Peace Prize this year. And so wonderful, 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 just exciting work by Dr. Stoddard. And so I was alluding to, again, the success, the relative success, but it's really historic success of our men's basketball team last season. Made it to the tournament for the first time ever. And I also alluded to the point that it's, in many universities, your top universities in the country, there's academics and there's athletics, and fortunately or unfortunately, depending on kind of what's important to you, many schools at the top end of the spectrum have chosen academics, and so that's why you will see the sports teams and your traditional sports like basketball and your more popular sports, like basketball and football, tend to struggle. Again, your Ivy League schools, your top universities, with the exception, Stanford, they do really well. They've got some very strong athletics as well as academics, but they themselves are an outlier in a sea of outliers. But great news from Northwestern's campus on behalf of Dr. Stoddard, but also to bring this point home on the relative importance of academics to sports and athletics on our campus in particular. So this is our alumni magazine, like I said, that we receive three times a year. And the inside of it is 69 pages. Okay, so front and back, 69 pages. And the sports section of this entire 69 pages, folks, is this page and this page. That's it. That's it. All right. And so, of course, it's highlighting, as I mentioned last time, Nia Coffey, who was, again, the second women's Northwestern basketball player to make it to the WNBA, and so we're very, very excited about that. Some men from the tennis team, and we've got some good news from the football team. So just very limited discussion when it comes to athletics there on campus at Northwestern. But I also highlighted last time Isaiah Thomas. I call him Isaiah Thomas Jr. Again, he's not related to the former Pistons great, the former members of Bad Boys, Detroit Pistons from back in the day. But I call him Junior, again, to differentiate for people who may not recognize that he's not the same person. And I don't want to, call him anything like Little Isaiah, because, again, he's 5'9". He actually happens to be the shortest player in the NBA right now, but is really done extremely well. And we'll see how this Game 7, of course, by the time this airs on Monday, we'll see how actually the results will already be out. So hopefully they'll be able to pull out a win. But Isaiah Jr. has really, really, really inspired a lot of people with his grit, with his tenacity, with his resilience and determination, in spite of the trauma and the loss of the unexpected, tragic loss of his sister in a car accident a few weeks ago. But continuing this conversation on outliers, and then there's certainly a behavioral trait that I want to highlight in him that was pointed out in a May 10th article by Jackie McMullen on ESPN.com. And again, another article that was actually inspired, that last episode was something I read on ESPN about Isaiah, and again, how he's the shortest player and is just doing extremely well and defying the odds. And so that's one thing outliers do not allow other people to put them in boxes and say, in his case, you're 5'9", there's no way you're going to be able to make it in the NBA. Okay, he could have again listened to that, and I'm sure he's heard that over and over and over again in his life, and people trying to define him and limit what he's able to do and the career trajectory was able to take. But outliers don't do that. Outliers, again, will hear that stuff and just blow it off and keep it on towards making their dreams a reality. But Jackie wrote this great article on him, and essentially it talked about how Isaiah Thomas, one thing that he did in Outliers, will tell you this is something they've done over and over again in their lives, is he reached out. Again, Kobe Bryant, retired after last season, 5 championships, spent years and years with the Lakers, did extremely well, very, very successful player. And so, but he reached out to him and said, hey, can you give me some advice? Can you give me some tips? And actually, Kobe has helped him in addition to 3 or 4 other players currently in the NBA. And so it was wonderful, wonderful to read that. And also from Kobe's perspective, and a lot of the criticism that he received over the years is that he was a ball hog, he was selfish, yada, yada, yada. So it was wonderful from both perspectives to see Kobe all of a sudden, now that he's retired, he's out of the game, that competitiveness, will often keep people from helping other people in those type of situations. And in any type of situation, competitiveness can impede that flow of free help and advice and insight and wisdom. But he is certainly helping people now, and Isaiah is one who reached out to him. But just to kind of break this point down a little bit further, reached out to him, had the courage, had the humility, but also had the smarts and the wisdom to say, this man has made a lot of great things happen. Kobe is a superstar, has really shaped this industry, has shaped the NBA like few other have done during the course of his successful career, but reached out and asked for help. And that's something Outliers do time and time again. When you look at the world, and that's one thing, I'm a voracious reader. I mean, I read a lot. You'll often see me on a cardio machine in the gym with a book in my hand, with a magazine in my hand. I'm a voracious reader. I read a lot. I'm talking 2 to 3 books a week. I'm just, in addition to magazines, in addition to internet articles, but I read a lot. But one thing that I'm very interested in is I read a lot of biographies and autobiographies on successful people. Or again, outliers. I'm reading and I'm studying and I'm learning from these people, but I'm also just so impressed. You will see this theme over and over again, just like Isaiah Thomas. I call him Junior, but he's not Junior, but I call him that. But just like Isaiah, reaching out to someone far more successful than he, and say, you know what, can you help me? But that takes a lot of humility to be able to do that, to admit, hey, I'm an outlier in a sea of outliers in the NBA, which has the world's best players, but I still have enough humility, but again, have enough smarts and wisdom to reach out to somebody who's successful time and time again in the same situation I'm dealing with right now. All right, you will see that over and over again. I love reading just the examples and the stories of successful people who had mentors, who had the courage to reach out to other people and say, hey, I'm new in this position. Hey, I've never faced this situation before. Or hey, I faced it, but you faced it more times than I have. Can you give me some tips? Or what do you think about this? Can you give me some perspective? And that is just something, and I was just so touched when I read that. I was so touched when I read that. Because that's something I've done time and time again, even in my own life. Just the mentors, the people I've been in a seminar or workshop and just talked to the person afterwards and things like that. Just asking people, can you give me some advice? Or, what are your thoughts in this situation? Or have you faced something like this? And so, folks, but yes, it takes humility on our part, because we have to admit that we don't know everything, that we don't have all the answers, that it truly, there's other people, we all, as human beings, we have strengths and weaknesses, and we all, again, and there's that whole saying is that, all of us is certainly better than just one of us. And so what is the wisdom behind that is that, again, we all have various strengths and weaknesses, and when we work together, we can help to, again, mitigate our weaknesses, but again, enhance and build upon our strengths. And so we all have weaknesses, folks. But see, what smart people do, what outliers do, is reach out to other people that are strong where they may be weak, and get advice and learn from other people. But that takes a lot of humility. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't have that courage to admit, hey, I'm struggling. Hey, I'm not sure what to do in this scenario. But I assure you, folks, and more often than not, the other person will be more than grateful to help you. They will share their wisdom. They will share their insights and will help you. And again, why do we have to keep? We don't have to keep reinventing the wheel in life. We can learn from other people. We don't have to keep making the same mistakes. All right, we can learn from other people's mistakes. That's the beauty of reading, from my reading biographies and autobiographies and business journals and magazines and all of that, internet articles. I'm always listening for wisdom, always listening for and watching out for learning opportunities. Of course, while I'm reading, but just in real life in general, I'm just a sponge for wisdom and learning. All right, that's just a great passion of mine. And so, folks, I just wanted to challenge you today. Okay, outliers, again, you don't have to be, again, an NBA player. You don't have to be a Fortune 100 CEO. to be able to glean wisdom and advice from other people. In fact, it's actually better. It's easier to do. Again, when we're just everyday common people that are just learning and sojourners on this journey of life, trekking through life, doing the best that we can, but also learning and growing and developing. But a lot of that learning, growth, and development will come from other people. We don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. There's no one that has all the answers. They would be a perfect person, and as you've heard me say ad nauseum, perfection does not exist in human form. So folks, learn, grow, reach out, touch base with other people, soak up wisdom and knowledge from them so that you don't have to make, in many cases, the same mistakes. That's part of living. You will make mistakes, but hey, don't make the same mistake twice. Thanks so much for your time. Make it a wonderful day.